Hi, this is Abhishek from HDFC Securities. We are here to discuss about HDB Financial Services, an IPO which is awaited by all. It's a 12,500 crore worth of an IPO, and it's coming from the HDFC Group. HDFC Group, as you all know, has marquee names as HDFC Bank, HDFC Securities, HDFC Asset Management Company, and HDFC Life Insurance. So we are happy to welcome Mr. Jaykumar Shah, who is the CFO of HDB Financial Services, and we are here to talk about HDB Financial Services IPO, which is round the corner. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you.
So, Jay, before we start, actually, we all want to know what is HDB Financial Services all about? What does it do?
Okay, let me give you a few snippets on what HDB is all about. So HDB Financial Services today is the only retail-only finance company for all practical purposes in the country. We're very granular. We touch the lives of, I would say, almost 18 million customers, which spreads across more than 1,700 cities. We have over 60,000 people approximately in the lending business. We operate across multiple products, right from a loan against property to businesses, to business loans, to gold loans, moving through asset finance, commercial vehicles. Then we cover construction equipment. We're also into tractor loans. And then touching the real granular customers in terms of consumer durables, where we also service them in terms of, as they have other consumption requirements through personal loans, which are very relationship oriented. We're also into the auto loan space, typically as we call four-wheelers, and into two-wheelers. So really very, very granular, spread across the length and breadth of the country. We're very diversified in the sense our mix as well is very much spread across how the India's GDP is spread. So it's approximately 15-16% towards the east of the country, which is exactly how the GDP is.
Interesting.
30%, in the north, which is very similar to the GDP of the country. So to summarize, a well-diversified lending company, subsidiary of HDFC Bank, comes with the right level of ethics, governance, compliance as a running ethos is how we work.
Okay. Jay, can you also tell me more about how big is the team? What is the reach all about? Though you touched upon you are present across, but I'd like to know how big is the team and a bit more about how you are touching customers digitally.
Brilliant. So let me start with the team and the digital part. So as we call it, a large number of our customers are really the aspiring India.
Okay.
Now you'd ask me, what is really aspiring India? So today, a large number of HDFC Bank customers would be amongst the affluent, the mass affluent, whom really bank with HDFC Bank. We touch the aspiring India, which actually operates throughout the country, across states, across districts, across towns. More than 70% of the business that we generate from tier 4 cities and above, which is actually by census city number 101 plus.
Oh.
Which is very, very, touching the lives of real Bharat, as I would call it, beyond the cities that you and I know. In terms of digital, we like to call it assisted digital. And the reason being, yes, we absolutely have an app, which is like an HDB on the go app. You can log in, you can finish the entire journey, and you can get a loan within 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That said, we also work with our customers to say, if they need assistance at any point in time, we are there to support them. We're there to make sure it facilitates the customer in a manner that he or she is not stuck. So today, if he's filled his entire KYC, he's gone through the journey, and at the end, before finishing off or taking the loan, he wants to meet the RM. We're there for him.
Right.
If he wants to complete the journey before filling in the KYC, we're there for him, either on the phone or in person.
Okay.
Now for that, we have a sales force of approximately 38,000 people across the country. And that's the kind of granular nature of the business we have, whether it is being at a counter in a Vijay Sales or a Croma, or being at a Tata Motor or a Venetian Honda, or being at our branches.
Okay.
Right. And that's the kind of spread we have in terms of people supporting each of the businesses. And in terms of our businesses, we're spread across three verticals, the way I mentioned to you. One is enterprise lending,
Okay.
which is a very neighborhood lending model,
Got
which
it.
is where we do LAP loans, which is where we do business loans, and which is where we do a gold from.
Okay.
Right. And the other parts is asset finance, which I spoke about in terms of commercial vehicle, construction equipment, and tractor. There we operate through our branches
Right.
as well as across dealer networks. So you'll have large dealers where there would be somebody who's seated there, and also make sure that the end point in terms of how the customer experience works, we're there for them.
Okay.
And then in the consumer side, it's a combination of both pure digital channels. So today, if it's a two-wheeler loan that you're talking about, you could get approvals within 2 minutes, right? Similarly, in a consumer durable loan, when you go across, you fill your papers and you put it across, you expect that you can buy a mobile phone within 5 minutes, and that's
Right.
what we do. So there you could have a person or simply the digital going through the dealer himself. And that's how we operate across the gamut through the country.
Very interesting. So, you told me about your reach. 38,000 employees is really a big force to cater to. Jay, also tell us about what HDB offers to the customers across India and across segments in terms of unique product offerings.
So let me give you let me take a little bit of a step back and tell you how we've grown,
Sure.
right? And why do we believe we have the right to win in the spaces that we're in. So our enterprise lending business is the first one we started in 2008.
Okay.
And that's one which we've really established and grown over a period of 17 years. And we have a large section of the team, especially the mid to senior management, who've been with us all throughout. My head of credit today is employee number 4.
Oh.
Right. And my predecessor who, retired from the company was employee number 2. I have number of my senior management, in terms of who work with the CEO, all are within 2 digits. So they all call me a newbie and I've completed 4 years. And that's how, stabilized the team is in terms of who run the business. So enterprise lending started today almost 17 years ago. And what we've done in terms of expanding it is then we moved into asset finance, which we've grown from being very small to approximately 38% of our book today.
Oh.
So enterprise lending is approximately 39%, asset finance is approximately 38%.
Interesting.
The consumer book that we have in terms of growth, how we've leaped into it, as we grew and we had a network of almost 500 to 800 branches, we've then gone out to the OEMs, the likes of, a Vivo or a Samsung and others, and said, we actually have the presence.
Right.
Today, you look at your partners to support you, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai. I'm sure you'll have lots of partners. Who is it that will support you and stay with you today
Right.
across the country, across times of ups and downs? We are there to support you across the tier 3 and the tier 4 towns.
Right.
Today in a manner that can actually flow through in terms of affordability, creating the space in the market.
Right.
And that's something we've created through our consumer business, where we were 13% of our book. Today, that's 23% of our book.
Oh.
Right? Our customer base was 9.4 million approximately 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago. Today, we've grown at 2x in 3.5 years in terms of how we've distributed to our customers.
Right.
So the 18 million customers that I speak about, it's grown practically 2x in just under 4 years. And that's been a huge thing in terms of reaching out to the real Bharat.
So Jay, tell us what has been the journey over the decade has been for HDB Financial Services as far as customers and financials both.
Thank you so much for this question. Actually, it's been a phenomenal one.
Yeah.
Exciting one. Something that we've grown across. We've seen challenges of COVID. We've stabilized. We've again picked ourselves, again grown, supported customers all throughout.
Okay.
Right. And, moved along with our customers. Let me put some stats to it, right? So in 2011, 12, we started a commercial vehicle business. Then we started a construction equipment business around that time. And that's something which we were doing well on, right?
Right.
As you saw through COVID, Our balance sheet was around 60,000 crores then. And we went through a phase where the country came to a full stop. Somebody asked me, Jay, what do you do? So I joined the company actually, interestingly, today's day 4 years ago.
Oh.
So I complete 4 years today.
And
right?
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. And when I joined on 14 June 2021, it was phase 2 COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting there just about. The whole world was at a standstill, so was India. As we spoke about what is our customer breadth, it is India Inc. Where are we really? The tier 3, the tier 4 towns.
Okay.
People were not moving out. Businesses were closed. People needed support, right? We were there to hold their hands. We did not really go out there and, tell everybody, I want your money back now. We were there to support them. We gave them the lead time.
Okay.
We worked with them to make sure their business is sustained.
Right.
Today, what is very important for an organization like HDB, which is an HDFC Bank subsidiary, it's the governance. It is how well do you support your community? How well do you stand by them for sustainable growth?
True.
That is very critical in today's business. Otherwise, if you're just there to make money and not support the community, it is not going to be sustainable over decades.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really we did. Across those 2 years, we held on to ourselves. We worked with our people and our customers right through from, I would say, almost when we got hit in March 20, right through to March 2022.
Okay.
From there on, as the country picked back pace, we again decided to grow with our customers, right? We were growing all along at I would say 15 to 20% year on year. We again decided to grow, and over the last 3 years, again, balance sheet has grown by 20%.
Oh.
And what does that mean? We went from 60,000 crores to, as at March, almost a 1,08,000 crores, right? That's a phenomenal journey of growth. When you look at this, business has been built fully organically. Right. We've not had any acquisitions throughout the years. We've not gone out and said, we'll do different products. We don't do any wholesale products. So there is no scope to say, I will load a 300 crore loan, and hence increase my balance sheet.
Right.
When you look at every single loan that we do, the average size could be as low as 1.5 lakh rupees on the whole, which means every time I add a few thousand crores, I add a few lakh customers, right? And for that, it is not that if I'm talking to you, I can get you back as a customer. That does not add as 2. It adds only as 1, right? So that means you're really going into the heartlands of the country, working with people. That's where I believe, from an investor point of view today, if you look at how is this company really moving into the space? Do I have confidence that they can grow? That's the confidence we've had of the last 3 years, right? That we have the ability, we have the technology. We've put the technology stack today. And one very anecdotal example I'll give you. Most people in the country would relate to Dhanteras,
right?
Or, some of the festivals that we have, right? Now, on those days, our maximum volumes come, which are almost 20 times a volume that you would hit in an average day.
Oh,
right?
That's a news.
And for that kind of volumes, you need the systems to be able to do that.
Sure.
Right? That's where cloud technology helps, because if you hit that kind of volume and you capacitize for 20x, you'd have massive losses in the form of, having a tech stack that delivers volumes, which you don't do every day. You look at the other flip side. Today, when most of us go and buy into consumer durable related products, or you even go to buy a 2-wheeler or a 4-wheeler, we wouldn't do it from a 9 to 5 on a weekday. You'll want to go on a weekend and do that. You'll want to go in the evening and do that, which means capacity needs to be there.
Right.
But you can't keep capacity during the day. So you need to have systems and processes which are nimble enough to make sure you don't incur cost when you don't need to.
Right.
You incur cost when you actually want to.
So prime time.
Prime time,
yes.
Right? And that's exactly what we've done in terms of building that technology over the last number of years. So we've grown well. We are here, well poised, right? And it's been going good.
Sure. So, Jay, also tell us how you are shaping as well with the industry, or how is the industry growing over the past, say, 5 years, 3 years?
So let me cover the industry more from a last 3 years point of view. And I'll talk about ourselves, which is more relevant in this
definitely.
shape. So let me cover as a whole, right? So a consumer business is, as I mentioned, from a 5-year period or post-COVID, we've almost grown and made it, 50, 60%.
Okay.
And that's something we've managed to do as a part of establishing ourselves with our dealer partners, with our equipment manufacturers, the likes of a Maruti, the likes of a Hyundai, the likes of a Tata, on the consumer durable side, the likes of a Samsung and number of other manufacturers like an Apple and others, right?
Right.
And then we also work with the dealers.
Mhm.
Like today, you have a Vijay Sales. You might have a large, manufacturer dealer.
Right.
Along with that sense, also working and sticking to our core, where we go into and work with the small MSMEs,
Mhm.
right? Where we've not left MSMEs to say, now we're growing big, you're not important. You are our heart. You remain our heart and soul along
Right.
with the other parts and grow in that business. Along with that, the salaried personal loan side, which we have,
Right.
is also a very important piece of business that we do within the enterprise lending, where we again looked at salaried people. And that business we've grown across the last 3 to 5 years. We're
Right.
pretty small there, a growth area, right? And something think we have a niche in. So across the 3 products that we have, we believe we have a right to win in most. Some we are small, and we've done well in terms of establishing ourselves.
Mhm.
So opportunities exist, and something we have to see, as we develop more and more slicker systems, as our people, get more entrenched into the country, how do we develop some of those?
Great. And straight question on the profitability. Last 3 years, how it has grown?
So from a profitability point of view, let me cover a few businesses where we've done really well,
Right.
right? And where we are growing.
Mhm.
So on the consumer side, as you would naturally imagine, as you put a lot more people, there's a lot more establishment cost that goes in.
True.
And there's been a huge amount of investment we've done into that business, where profitability is really starting to show a huge jump as we come along.
Okay.
And that's been a business that we're growing and we're doing well. In terms of the asset finance business and the enterprise lending business, they've been very stable and growth has been very good over the last 3 years.
Mhm.
So from a profitability, if you look at how we've been performing,
Yeah.
we today deliver an average of between 15% to 18% ROE. What does ROE really mean? It's return on equity. So today, if you put in 100 rupees, the company is earning on an average 15% for you, which is a fairly healthy growth to be in.
Right.
And we've always aspired to, as we've delivered in the last, I would say, FY financial year 24, 23, and then again in 25, we've been in the range of 15 to 18%. That's an
Okay.
important aspect. Second, what is very important to customers is what is the health of your book?
Right.
Do you have any large customers, which if they go belly up, you could have a worry?
Right.
As we discussed, we work very granular in the country.
Mhm.
Our top 10 customers today constitute only 0.36% of our book,
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah.
right? Which means today, if out of my 18 million customers, 18 customers go bad, it can only mean so much,
Right.
right? Which means a much larger set of people whom we lend to
Mhm.
need to be affected, which means the country needs to be affected in a major way
Right.
for us to really get affected as
Right.
we operate at that level across the country.
So the investor community wants to know what's the purpose of this IPO. You are a well-run company so far.
So thank you for that question. The reason why we're going for an IPO is, as some of you might be aware, we were classified as an upper layer NBFC. That's a technical term by the RBI.
Right.
It's granted to, a privileged lot of around 10 to 12 NBFCs. And as part of that journey, we have to list before September 2025.
Okay.
So that's the primary reason why, HDFC Bank has decided that HDB needs to get listed. That is
Okay.
one. As part of the listing, once you get listed, the parent shareholding
Right.
by regulation needs to go down to below 75%
Okay.
over a 3-year period. And hence, from that point of view, HDFC Bank has decided that 10,000 crores becomes an offer for sale.
Okay.
And as part of our growth agenda,
Right.
what we've looked at is 2,500 crores is essentially, for growth purposes. Now, what
Got
does
it.
growth mean for us? Very simple. We'll go out and do more lending and hopefully make more money for the investors.
Interesting, very interesting. Well, what's the mood in the entire company all about? Because you are off, very soon hitting for the IPO. What's the sense? What you are getting from the floor, from your employees, from your colleagues?
It is our 18th year,
Okay.
right? We've been waiting for it and we will get there, right? I mean,
Yes.
it is in our hands. We're going to make it happen, make it big.
Sure.
Obviously, we will play it safe and do really well. So we're really, really excited, really, really looking forward to it. When you've asked me this question, my heartbeat's gone up with all of excitement, right? So really happy. I think that we're able to cross this journey, creating a 1 lakh crore company, in terms of lending in 18 years, a book as granular as this, touching lives across the country. I can tell you only one thing. I mean, it's a dream come true, right? And the fact that today this India Inc. gets the opportunity to be a part of this company,
right,
and grow it again to be the real Bharat again, I think is another big feat we're taking. Today, we're not going to be there for life. Company is going to be there for life.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And that's the opportunity for the country that, make an HDB as big as anything else that you can think of.
Best wishes for that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for understanding this business of HDB Financial Services. Stay tuned with us for more updates on upcoming IPOs. Thank you.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.